first off today, we're going to look at some unusual art called puzzle sculptures. Rex?
Thank you, Beth. Our guest is Edith Baker, who is the owner of Collector's Choice Gallery in Dallas, and she's brought with her, I should say, a collection of puzzle sculptures by the Spanish sculptor Miguel Berrocal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I guess the first thing we should mention about these is the puzzle aspect of them. They are all pieces sort of woven together, interwoven, I guess you could say.
Well, this is one of the spectacular aspects of Berrocal's genius. He really is a diabolical genius. His sculptures are magnificent per se, just as pieces of art. But his genius comes into the conception of putting together a puzzle which is so intricate and so ingenious that everybody becomes involved. Anyone who is interested in sculpture at all, or any object which is of aesthetic beauty, becomes involved in Berrocal's sculpture. It is not the type of art which you take home, put on a stand and look at and just never do anything with it except maybe touch it occasionally.
Does anybody else do this sort of thing?
No, in fact, nobody has even tried because they're so intricate and so ingenious. He's an architect, an engineer, an eccentric, a madman. You have to be in order to be such a genius and to conceive the type of sculpture that he has been doing for the past 30 years.
Well, we have about 10 pieces here. Why don't we go through as many of them as we can here, because they're very interesting to look at and to take apart. We can't take them completely apart.
We're not going to take them completely apart, but just the mere thought that you can look at something like this, as beautiful a form as this is, and know that every one of them has a key which opens up the sculpture, and then you begin to disassemble the pieces. And of course, as you look at each piece, it is almost a piece of sculpture in itself.
What is this particular piece? This
is called Totoche, and it is a La Totoche, which is a human figure, a female figure, which he usually likes to do. And it has very Art Deco form, which he's also very into. And this, again, opens up, if I'm successful enough to do it backwards.
These are puzzles. Eventually, that would come completely apart.
It comes apart completely.
How many pieces is in that one?
There were probably about 17, at least. And this is a part which really usually comes out very easily, but is very highly polished for this show. But if you look at each piece in itself, it is really a piece of sculpture. Of course, some of the intrigue in Berrocal's genius is the fact that he doesn't leave just one piece alone. This is Micheline, which is the sculpture of his wife. Again, a very intricate piece of sculpture which houses a ring inside.
Hold that so, yeah, there we go.
And it is just very, very intricately woven, and from every aspect you can see a different sculpture. And of course, the little surprise when this is undone is that there is a ring. Her eye is a ring.
That's amazing. And that goes
this goes
on the other
in
one.
here, and it fits in.
What are those made of again?
This is polished bronze, and this is bronze and nickel plated. Some of them are silver. And then, of course, you lock this in. Did I do this?
It is a puzzle.
Yes, it is a puzzle, and of course it would be even better if I see what I'm doing backwards. And then, of course, you lock it in again.
It's very interesting.
And it's something that anybody with a little dexterity can do. At this point in time, I think I'm just a little bit
well, I think we get the idea.
disadvantage, but because I can't see it from the front.
And this is another interesting one here you're showing us beforehand.
I think you have to try that one.
I'll see if we practice this beforehand.
Yes. This is called the Paloma Jet, and it was commissioned by a major airline. And it's just such an exquisitely crafted piece of sculpture, which is also at the same time a pitcher, and you can pour into the goblet, which is the actual nest.
That is amazing.
And if you wish, of course, you can set this down and it can take off. And
that is amazing. And you can actually, it is a functional.
It's a functional piece.
It might fall off.
No, it will not. It's very, very, very sturdy.
Well, I had it sort of sitting over the edge there. I better be careful with these things. What about this one here?
And this one is one of his most important pieces, and there are probably only 2 of these left. We have one, and there's one in New York, and it's called Romeo and Juliet. And again, it's homage to Shakespeare, if you will, or to Italy and to Romeo and Juliet. And it is a most intriguing piece.
And it too comes apart?
It comes apart completely, and of course it epitomizes the love between Romeo and Juliet. And you see the 2 human figures interlocked.
We should mention here, since we are about out of time, these are on display at the Collector's Choice Gallery,
right,
which is at 5950 Royal Lane in Dallas, Royal and Preston, I believe.
Right next to Haagen-Dazs.
Through November the 13th?
Yes, and we will be the permanent representatives of Berrocal in the Dallas area. So we invite people to correspond with us or call us whenever they wish to see any of these. By the way, I didn't mention they also have the puzzle jewelry, and I have one of those hanging right here.
Well, Edith Baker, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Rex.
We'll be back with more news right after this break.